Hi everyone, Susan from Butts Bees. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to make money from beekeeping. There's obvious ways and maybe not so obvious ways. And this video is directed to somebody that's either thinking of becoming a beekeeper or a brand new beekeeper and wondering how you're going to make some of your money back. So let's talk. I've been keeping bees for 20 years and I started with 2 hives. The family and I, we went and got 2 hives, and then the craziness and passion escalates, and I now run 150 to 200 hives. Making honey is the easy part. It's the selling of the honey that could actually become a bit cumbersome. How do you make money with all of this equipment and bees and passion that we love so much? So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the honey. Honey is your most obvious way of making money. Most people start out giving away your honey, and that's great because it gives everybody a taste of your hobby. It gives you an idea of who may like some honey. After that, then you start making a little bit more honey that maybe you don't want to give away, or you want to make some money back on the equipment that you just bought. The first thing I'd like to say when you think about selling honey, don't sell your honey cheap. Don't just give it away. If you're going to gift it, gift it. If you're going to sell it, sell it. There's a thing out there called the honey report. The honey report can tell you in your area what retail is going for, what wholesale is going for, and it gives you a breakdown of honey and honeycomb and things like that. Start to look at these market reports. Look at how much other people are selling their honey for, and don't think about undercutting anybody. Beekeeping is hard work. It takes a lot of equipment, it takes a lot of time. And remember, each bee only makes 1/12 of a teaspoon. So if you're taking care of your hives, sell your honey for what it's worth. Now, what about that honey? Well, you can sell it in a myriad of containers. Again, you're going to have to start looking around. The easiest is the pint and quart jars. Sell it at your church markets, your farmers markets. Start where you don't have to have a constant flow of honey. Your local supermarket may say, hey, we love your honey, give us some. But if you only have 10 hives, you're only going to be able to supply them for a very short period. So think about that. But if you get that market, you might want to soak it up a little bit too. It's not an easy market to get. The next thing is online selling. Go ahead and open up that shop because it's easy. You can open it and close it as your honey is available. And it's really nice that you can do it. They have all sorts of apps to do it with. There's all types of sites that do it. And they're fairly user-friendly. When you do start selling your honey, then start looking at what kind of honey are you selling. You should understand what is your bloom, so that at the very least you can say this is spring honey and this is fall honey, because there's 2 different colors, 2 different tastes. You might have an area, a northern Mississippi and a south Mississippi. Or you can be even more precise and know what is your bloom. Is that just blueberry honey? Is that just clover honey? People really enjoy that, and that's a specialty type market. Then we go into honey even more. You can do a value-added honey. Value-added means that now you can add something to it. Take your crystallized honey and cream it. That's value-added. You can add cinnamon to it. Value-added. There's a lot in the marketing of your honey that you can do. And then you have to do the legwork. Are you going to sell it at a store, and can you supply them? Are you just going to do farmers markets? And you can do multiple sites. Do an online site, do an eBay site, do an Etsy site, do multiple. Get your product out there. The next after honey, without raising your bees and going crazy, is capturing pollen. Pollen is another superfood, and on top of pollen, you can also use that as a value-added product, mixing it back into your honey and making it like a 50-50 mix. Pollen only requires the trap and the season. And again, your pollen is going to look like your area. After pollen, I would say probably the easiest thing to do is more propolis, more a product of the hive. And those, again, those require a trap or the hard work of scraping the propolis off the frames and off the boxes. From propolis, you can sell just the raw propolis. Lots of people like that. They also like the tincture, which is not hard. And these are all products of in the hive, and you can do this. You can do this with a few hives or many hives. Obviously, if you have a lot of hives, you're going to have a lot more to sell. What about bees? Can you sell bees? The first time I ever sold bees was to another beekeeper, and I had no idea they did this. And he came over and he asked if he could buy a frame of bees. And I really don't even remember what he was doing. I think he had a queenless hive, or he needed extra something for, because I think he bought capped brood, but it's been a long time. So he bought a frame, and at that time it was like, geez, I think it was like $3 or $5. Again, don't sell your stuff short. What is the cost of your woodenware, and then what was the cost that you think you could use to replace it? Beekeeper to beekeeper, you can sell bees, you can sell queens, you can sell nukes, and the one thing you have to keep in mind is if you are selling bees or queens, depending on your state, you have to be inspected by the state. In my area, I have to be inspected because I sell bees and queens. I do not have to be inspected because I sell honey. That I don't know of anywhere it does, but you do. So this inspection is very short. They come, they test a portion of your hives for any disease, and that's it. You get your certificate. If you want to sell to your local bee club, make sure no one's a stickler for the law if you don't have your inspection. It's always safe to have the inspection. Mine doesn't cost anything. I think in Florida they do charge, or in some states they charge per hive, because you don't want to be accused of selling them a diseased frame of bees or a diseased queen and you didn't have your inspection. Reputations can follow you. The easiest thing to do with the bees though is the nukes. And you can make your own queen or buy a queen and then make a nuke and stick it in there and sell it off. It's not something I would suggest until you have probably at least 3 years, but if you're really into it, go for it. Bees and queens take more time, more equipment, and more inspections. So that's why everyone goes for the honey first. It's the most plentiful, and it's what everyone knows about. When you start selling bees and queens, your niche is smaller. Everybody eats honey. Not everybody wants to keep bees. Also, if you're doing more nukes and things, the more area you have to do that in, you can do that. Whereas honey, you can do in your backyard. If you're doing honey, You have to be aware of any cottage laws for labeling. What do you need on your label? Usually it's the apiary, the area, a way to get back to you, the beekeeper that has it. In certain states, there's laws on, depending on how much you sell, you reach a threshold, then all of a sudden you have to commit that you're a commercial person as far as labeling and things like that. It's easy, I think it's easier just to sell in the smaller markets. But you could do wholesale. Wholesale is a whole nother world. You can sell to restaurants at wholesale. You can just package up all your honey. No packing, no tiny bottles, no labels, no nothing, and just straight sell it out wholesale. It gets rid of it, and you don't have any more bother to it. No extra work. So honey, pollen, propolis, gifts of the hive. You can do, and then the very least, but not least, you have, because you just extracted all that honey, you have wax, a lot of wax. The wax will sell as a bar. Just pour it out, make a bar. Or, again, if you don't want to sell just plain wax, you can do more value-added products and do candles, lip balms, lotion bars. There's a ton of books out there on products from beeswax, but you can also just sell the beeswax. Again, how far into this do you want to go? And let me tell you, it's not a cheap hobby. It's not cheap. You have to really search things out. Look for the right molds that your area would like. Maybe listen to a few of your friends, put it out there on your Facebook page, things like that. Start marketing even on a small scale, and you'll start to see where people really like it. So it's not easy making money with bees because you're still trying to keep your bees, make your honey, and then turn around and do your marketing. But it is possible. Are you going to make $1 million on 10 hives in your backyard? No, you won't. And my big takeaway, if you get anything, is do not sell yourself short. This stuff is hard work. We're out here in the heat. We're out here getting stung. Don't sell your honey for nothing. Don't sell your honey for nothing. I think one of the worst things I ever heard, I was at a farmer's market. A woman came up, just told me straight out my honey was too expensive. Yeah, and don't buy it then. She said she bought a quart from her old guy down the street from her, and it was like $5 a quart or something. And she's like, but he doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have any more honey. He lost his bees or something. Well, why should that guy go out? Go all that work just for $5 a quart? She didn't appreciate that he was gifting her honey. Don't sell your honey cheap. Don't sell yourself short. And sales come and go, but you put in all that hard work, charge what you're worth, and then let your customers appreciate what you did. That's my opinion. So I hope you guys go out, enjoy your bees. That's the first and foremost. Enjoy your bees. So I want you to go out and enjoy your bees. That's number one. And then when you make a surplus and you're not sure what to do with it, and your friends are all flush with honey, go sell something. But don't sell yourself short, and don't make it cheap on the rest of us. Until next time, happy beekeeping.